So here I have successfully added the OJDBC 11 jar to my OJDBC 6 project, right? So what I have to do, I have to click a Control S and run the program, run as the Java application. Okay, so it says please enter the student ID. So I'll enter the 101. Now it is asking please enter the student name and please enter the student marks. It is not giving me an option to enter the student name. Directly it is asking me to enter the student marks. So what I will do here, I'll do one thing. Okay, as it is not asking me, I have to be cross check whether this row is inserted or not. So it's taking the name as a null value because it just asked me to enter the ID and marks. It didn't ask me to enter the name. So let me go to the MySQL, as it by default it is taking the null value. So here what I will do, select start from student to cross check whether this row is inserted. I have to enter the marks first. Yes, row is inserted. Please enter. It is asking me to enter this second row. Now I have to be check whether this row is inserted first. So here, what I'll do, select start from student. Okay. Yes, here one row is inserted and yes name. It by default it is taken the null value. So here, but my question here is why the program is not taking the name where it is a mystery. Let me go to the and delete this. Delete from student. Yes, I do commit. So commit is complete. I should commit because also wherever I'm doing this in SQL, either inserting, updating, or deleting, we have to do commit. Otherwise, it becomes a temporary storage. So let me just do this clear screen once. Okay, done. So what is the problem with the next line? So let's just show this code. What is the problem here? Where is this here? Next int method. Okay, next int method. Please enter the student name. So here it is a next line method. Okay, what if I go with the 101? I enter, it's taking the name, and when I give, so let me just check this. Adding the next line method. So hopefully it will work now. Next. Next line. Control S. If I only take the instead of next line, I'll just go with the next method. Let's see first what will happen. It will show the error or something. I have used earlier next line, now it is a next method only. Entering the marks 101. Please enter the student name. Now I will enter. Okay. See what it is showing, input mismatch exception. Why input? Because when I give the Vanitha G next, please enter the marks. It shows, but what it says input mismatch still not getting. Okay, if I enter only Vanitha, not G, what it will happen? It will take the name. but I want to enter with space, like Dheeraj Kumar. Okay, I want to take the two names. I want to take the two words. But next method read only one word. One word equal to one word means one token, but name can have a multiple tokens. Okay, it should be a multiple words, Vanitha, Gadge, or something like that. Okay, so now next method is won't suitable with my method. So I have to call the next line method. Even I'm getting the issue, it's like directly taking the next menu. So let me just try to add here next in my next line method and control S. Now I will run this. Run as, where is this? Java application. Enter the student ID 101, name, marks 399. So one row is inserted. So let me go and cross check in the SQL plus. I had a clear screen, right? Yes. Select star from student. Yes. So now when I use the only next method, it doesn't take. When I use the next line method, it is accepted. Okay, so name, student ID, name and marks. Now my code is working. Row is inserted. Now go to the code. Please enter the another ID. Here the next ID I will enter is 102. 102. Enter the name. Okay. So now enter the marks. So marks I will give as 508. So second row is inserted. Now I'll go to the two rows is inserted. Third row 103, and it is asking to enter the name. So I'll enter the Arvin. Okay, two words. Enter the marks. I'll give less marks. Done. So how many three rows is inserted? Now 104. Enter, and name I'll give any name you can give. So I'll just give this names Prashant. Okay, so might be I don't know the full name, so let it be. So marks. So I'll give 509. Now one row is four rows are successfully inserted. Now what is the name I'll give? So it has to be repeated 5 times, right? Now I'll give this name 10. What is the end ID? It is the last ID. And please enter the student name Bhaskar. Okay. Marks 5. Okay. So row inserted successfully. Now I'll go and cross check. So I have totally entered the 5 records. So loop repeats the 5 times. Right. It is asking go to here and select star from student. for example, students. Let's say 5 records is inserted here. So it is inserted 5 records, but it is not in the order wise. So it's like a different concept that we will discuss it. Okay. So finally, our records has been inserted, whether it is 5 records or 5,000 records. So we have to be checked like this by using the loop. Okay, I just close this. No problem. Okay, so 5 records are inserted. Okay, so leave this 5 records, and what if by using the prepared statement we have inserted the 5 records, right? So how many times my query is compiled? Only one time. But how many times it is executed? 5 times. So if I want to execute the 500 records, then how many times it will compile? Only one time. So if I want to execute 5,000 times, so will it compile 5,000 times or only one time? It will compile only one time. When how many records we want to execute, but it will always compiles only one time. So what we have understood, prepare statement compiles the query only for once in the database. Okay, then you can run the query number of times. Okay, so it will improve the performance. Right. So when to use the prepare statement to insert the number of records, and when you want to execute the same query n number of times. Okay. Here which query I want to execute? Insert query. Okay. How many times I executed? Only 5 times. It may be 5 times or 50 times or 5,000 times. Which one the statement is better to use? Obviously prepare statement. So now you got it right. Like when to use the prepare statement. So this is our code. Now yes, you have to be just try to practice this. It would be helpful and more easier to understand. Okay, so what are the two reasons we are using the prepared statement? So first one is to improve the performance, and second one is to prevent the SQL injection attack. So I'll go back and check. Now the first one we have to understand to improve the performance. So these are the two reasons that we are using the our prepared statement. This is prepared statement. The important two reasons which are, first one is nothing but the to improve the performance. We have already discussed this, right? Where it is to improve the performance and to prevent the SQL injection attacks. So this is we have already learned. So now what I will do to enter in the next line. Okay, I'll write 2 to 3 codes. With that, you will be understand like how this SQL injection attacks will work, right? So we have already just just we have seen the how to improve the performance with our code. Now we have to discuss to prevent the SQL injection attacks. What does exactly it mean? So when the here when I write the enter the username, it is like prompting the user to enter the name, right? So SQL injection attack. So we are discussing about the SQL injection attack, right? Mm, okay. So for example, let me take this. I'm writing the SOP statement. Here we are just prompting the user to enter the name first. Enter username like this. And what is the string value? It is a string username SC here. string username. What is now the username is equal to sc dot next line method. Next line method, right? So say for instance, like what my code is asking to the user to please enter the your name. Assume that I have a table users table. Okay, so from that users table I have to get the information about the users. I will explain in the escalator, like it will be you will, so it would be easier and we will not get confused. So here it is. I'll just try to write this code. Okay, so this is the users table, and I have the right. I have let it be. I have to be just explain this. So here this is a first column which I want to be use here. Users name, when the users enter the table, I have to be get the information about the users, right? So I have the users table. So these are the records. Each user contain the user ID, name, age, and city. So some columns are like email ID. So it is like a context of the user table. Okay. So columns are like I will take it as a username, age, city, and email. So suppose, yeah, this is the username. It is username. Okay. So let it be. It is a username. So let not to write, just we will assume that as it's taking the more time. Okay, so here we have some records, and first record is username. So suppose if the person name is first username is like Varaprasad. Okay, so how the query I will write the query like this. My query would be select select start from user, from users where username, username equal to variables. So, do you think? Tell me, like within the is this an accurate one? It's not the valid query. It's not a valid query. Why? Because Varaprasad is a string value. So we have to be enclosed within the quotes. So we have to in SQL we have to use the single quotes. For the Java we have to be enclosed it with double quotes as it is a SQL. So I have to be enclosed with the single quotes, right? It won't go, no problem. Okay, so select like when I select this one record which is a Varaprasad record, there is a one more record. Okay, suppose if I have another record which name is Ralph. Okay, obviously where the username, the second, this is See, it's not even coming. It's more time. This is a second column. I'll just select it as raw. Okay. Here I this we have the some data of the users. When I write raw select star from the username. Okay. When I'm writing is equal to spelling is correct. So what it will do in so it will give the now this query record selects the only one record. The first query records only the Varaprasad data and second records selects only the RAW data. So in place of Varaprasad, if I write RAW, okay, then it will get the RAW data. So let me go back to my code and I'll just write it here so that here you can understand in the clear manner. Okay. So these are the two things that we have to be mentioned in various. Okay, so it won't come. Let me just write it here so it would be more easier for us. When I try to write SOP statement, here enter the username, enter username in the double quotes. I have to be use the string username, username equal to sc dot next line method. Right. So here how I write the query string query is equal to into time string. I'll write the query now. Query is equal to select star from users. Users is my table. Users where username equal to in the double quotes. This is the plus symbol username. Okay, so username may contain Vara Prasad or Raf. So if it selects the Vara, then Vara record. If it's Raf, then it will show the Raf records, right? But actually, this username within a single quotes. So before I start, this query is in the single quote because username must be within the single quote opened. Okay, so this is the beginning. What happened here? The username is in the single quote. If the username is Vara or of, it must be the single quote. So how this string query I have to be write? If I write like this, you might understand. String query is equal to in the double quotes select star from users where username it is on username equal to single quotes and then I have to mention it in the double quotes. Why? Because it is a string value. And as it is a SQL query, so I have to be must I should mention it in the single quote. So first single quote, then I have to be using double quote, and then plus username, and then I have to be again enter with close with double quotes, then single quote, and then again double quotes. So my query is ready now. So it will select the query for all the records. Okay, so statement object is required. I'm not taking the prepare statement, only I'm taking the statement. So how I will write like this. Okay, stmt equal to con dot create statement method, create statement method. Okay, so this is in which query method? Execute update or execute query? Obviously, it is a execute query. So what it returns? Which object? It will returns the result set object. Okay, so how that I have to be mentioned in the result set object when it is a result set. Result set R is equal to object, my R is object, and stmt my statement on execute query, execute query method. In this query I have to be passed right here like this. I have to be mentioned pass the query. So you are selecting, when you are select the query for retrieving the data, after retrieving data you do not store in the result set object. So what is the use of retrieving? You need to perform something on the data, right? So some operations on the data. So in this scenario, 4 to 5 lines of the code is clear. So it's a common to all of us. Now when the user is entering the username, he entered this is something called let me just when the username. Okay, so when the when the username he entered like this something, take any name. Okay, it might be a the hacker may enter like this, or operator 1 equal to 1. So 1 equal to 1 is always true. Okay, so what happens if there is no user called Arvin, then there is no record of Arvin. So what if 1 equal to 1 is always true? What this query selects all the users. Okay, all the users because username is Arvin. So here we don't have the username, right? Here we don't have the username as a Arvin. So it is a wrong statement. So all operators second condition is 1 equal to 1, which is always true. Then we are getting all the records of the user, because what happens, the attacker might use anything. If they don't know the names, then they always use this type of tricks, right? Suppose the attacker or scammer or attacking this table, he might give in the username like this. So what happens, they when they give the usernames like this, okay, 1 equal to 1 or operator. So on that time what happened, uh, it gives the correct name, he can able to see all the users data. If the attacker gives the input like this, all our user data he will get, and it will get all the user records, names, name, age, city, all the data. So they will use this 1 equal to 1 is always true. So it's called the SQL injection attack. So who can attack like this? Some hacker. Okay, they might send this type of input and steal all the data. So to prevent this SQL injection attack, we use the prepare statement. So we'll see that we will check all the examples and we will write the program how this SQL injection will work, and what are the possibilities of writing the code. So we will check this, and this SQL injection is a condition or the situation where the attacker may give some wrong input, but this steals all the data from the table. So what if the table has a 5,000 data? Then it is possible that attacker can get all those data for the misuse, right? So from the table we use this type of prepared statement to prevent this. So tomorrow we will see complete example. So that's the session for today. Thank you.